is Xtina Larson. I am a hypnotherapist and founder of The Well-Traveled Woman. Today I'm here with my colleague Amanda Jamrose.
Hello.
And today we're going to be talking to you guys a little bit about what we do. Like I said, we hypnotize people. We are hypnotherapists. We practice QHHT, which is a method of hypnosis. And we're going to just inform you a little bit about what it is we do today.
What does QHHT stand for?
QHHT, Quantum Healing Hypnosis Technique.
Yeah, that's
right. It's a mouthful.
Mm-hmm. But it's just kind of starting to catch on. There's been a lot more popularity around the subject. I'm hearing more buzz about it, which is exciting because it's a super fun modality and way of working with people. We were thinking we would start talking about our first QHHT experiences. You want to talk about yours?
And how we got involved in this really cool field.
It's fascinating.
Really fascinating field. So my story is about a little over a year ago, I was attacked, and something it was a very traumatic experience. I went missing for about 20 minutes and was found in a puddle, rocking back and forth, beaten, bloody, just speaking gibberish. And I had absolutely no idea what had happened to me. No idea. It was such a trauma to me that I couldn't even return to work. I lost my job. My whole life, my whole world got rocked with this event. And I just wanted to find out what the heck happened to me. I don't know. It was a crazy experience.
Well, that was the hard part, is that you didn't know.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't know what happened. And it just happened by chance, one of those beautiful, magical things that the universe brings into our lives. I had a friend, Lisa, posted on Facebook that she had just got hypnotized, and it was like the coolest thing ever. And I'm like, oh, I need that. I need to unlock the memories of what happened, because I had such severe PTSD from the trauma of what happened. Like, my body was responding to the situation, the environment, but I had no recollection of what happened. And so I needed to know. So by chance, Lisa posted, and I got the information from her, and that's how I was introduced to Amanda here.
That's right. That was the first time we ever met.
Yeah, it was. Aww. And yeah, you helped me so much with everything. The experience that I had through her guiding was so profound that I had to learn how to do this myself so that I could help other people in the way that it helped me to unlock the memories and figure out what exactly happened to me.
And I was so excited when you called and said that you wanted to learn how to do QHHT too.
Oh, yeah.
Because I needed somebody to hypnotize me. I didn't have anybody.
So it all just works out, everything. Yeah. It all just worked out.
It was great. It was great.
Yeah, so that's how I got involved with this. How about yourself? How did you get involved? Because, I found you through a friend on Facebook.
Yeah, it was all just kind of weird networking.
But you kind of started this whole thing within Eugene. You brought it to Eugene.
Yeah. I think I saw something on Facebook, too, by Alba Weinman, who has a great YouTube channel about all of her QHHT sessions, and I was completely inspired. And we were talking about this on the way up too, just, how much do we share, what do we not share, but I really resonated with the way that they were going back into past events, whether that be in our lives or imagined past lives or real past lives. That's for people to decide. But doing a lot of learning and a lot of integrating with those experiences, and that was really fascinating to me. So I logged on and I took that course as soon as I could. It was something I just kind of dropped everything and had to know what exactly was going on here.
Totally.
Yeah.
And yeah, after that first session with you, the things that started unlocking in my mind and the pieces of the puzzle that just started fitting together, inspired a chain of events that has changed my life dramatically, completely 180 degrees.
It does. It kind of has these after effects for several days. I noticed that most of my patients will have a vivid dream that night. And I've noticed for myself, too, having been hypnotized several times now, that it's usually about 2 or 3 days where I'm just like, wow, there's so much information that I've accessed, so much more clarity. And always kind of looking forward to the next session that you and I do together, too.
Definitely. So why don't we talk a little bit about like how these sessions work, how they run, what to expect?
The other thing I was thinking, and I think that'd be good to talk about too, but do you think that like a lot of people, like we talked about this before we did our coping with chaos, is a lot of people ask if they can even be hypnotized.
My belief, now that I've been doing this, is that yes, every single person can be hypnotized. A lot of people have been taught to think maybe they can't because they've tried it and it didn't work, they fell asleep or whatever. We're in multiple states of hypnosis every single day. Driving down the road, have you ever driven a couple blocks or even a couple miles and you're like, you were somewhere else, come to and you realize, well, how did I get here? Wow.
Right.
Or when you're so zoned in and focused with like a movie, you hear somebody's calling your name, but you can't hear them. I know that happens a lot with my children when they're focused in on TV or video games.
You're always better at remembering what the brainwave state is that you're in when you're in hypnosis. Is it theta?
It is.
Okay.
It's the theta level.
And we cross in and out of that multiple times a day. If you're sleeping, you're crossing through theta, correct?
Right. Theta is the level right before you drift off into dreamland. It is essentially daydreaming. That's really all it is, you know.
Right.
Your body relaxes down to that state to where sleepwalking happens there, sleep talking happens in that level, and we record it for you so that you know what you're saying.
That's what we're just kind of stewards to kind of help guide your own chosen experience, really, which is, it kind of provides a safety net, because I think one of the fears that people have about hypnosis is that they're afraid that they're either going to have some part of themselves exposed that they don't necessarily want to be vulnerable or want someone to see.
Yes, definitely.
And I find that unless somebody's ready to open up and share, they're not going to go there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We have our conscious brain and we have our unconscious brain, or our subconscious, right? We all have heard of this before. It's not anything new. Our conscious brain controls is about 10 to 12% of our brain function. But what about that other 90%? That is controlled by the subconscious mind.
And it's a pretty powerful system.
It really is. It controls breathing, you know, all of our eating, sleeping, drinking, everything. It controls everything. Dreams, gosh, I could go on and on about what the subconscious controls.
A lot of the great inventors, Thomas Edison comes to mind. I think he was the one that was he was known for his power naps. And so what he would do is his logical mind would identify a problem and say, okay, this is something that's bothering me, this is something that I need to work on. And then he would go take a nap and he would wake up and he would have the solution figured out. So what that is kind of illustrating is how you can actually, we often do, even without knowing it, give our subconscious tasks to take care of that our prefrontal brain doesn't need to be worried about.
Sure.
And even if you haven't been attacked or gone through a traumatic experience, learning how to work with those different quadrants of your brain is powerful too. It makes you a more efficient human being, I think.
Absolutely. Being in control of your systems and your body, or at least possessing the knowledge to get there.
Yeah. I think one of my favorite things about my hypnosis sessions, personally, aside from just clarity and asking questions about, purpose, which I think most people are asking these days, is they want to know what their purpose is, which I think highlights even a bigger issue in our culture, but that's a whole other conversation.
Whole nother can of worms.
But one of my favorite things that I like taking away from these sessions is I feel like I integrate new skills every single time, and it's making me a more powerful artist. It's making me a better writer. It's
Yes, I can relate
all
to
those
that
things
as well.
Yeah, what have you benefited from
Gosh, I just feel like my ability to control my anxiety, I don't even have anxiety anymore, and I have, like I said, this attack, I was diagnosed with PTSD from it, severe PTSD, so much so I remember specifically an incident in Costco where I just had a complete shutdown. I remember clinging to like one of those flats or whatever with all the Costco goods on it, just holding onto it, and just the fact that I was in the presence of other human beings just was too much for me.
Yeah, which I think actually a lot of people can relate, and thank you for being vulnerable and sharing that too.
Yeah.
'Cause I think a lot of people, if they're not actually doing that, they're thinking about it, especially in Costco.
I mean, yeah, you don't even have to have a traumatic issue. Costco. You don't have to have a traumatic issue to be victim of feelings of anxiety or depression. I have also been diagnosed with bipolar tendencies clinically, and I feel like through the power of hypnosis, I've been able to come to know myself more. And really dial in on what my triggers are, and I've been able to reframe those triggers so that I haven't had a panic attack in I don't even know how long. It's been a long time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't have anxiety necessarily anymore, Feelings of anxiousness, yes, but it's not debilitating like it used to be. And I certainly don't suffer from depression anymore. Hypnosis is, like I said, it's changed my life. It's completely turned everything around for me.
I appreciate being able to work through some relationships that have been holding resentment on.
Yeah.
Especially that last one that I did with you, working on some anger and some resentment that I had been holding on to for a long time. And really being able to work through that while in a really relaxed state. And I was still lucid for that. I think that's another misconception about hypnosis, is that you're going to be put into this trance and you're not going to remember anything.
Right.
Although, we do forget snippets, there's still so much of you present there experiencing what's going on.
Yeah, it's very, very much similar to a dream. And of course, we don't always remember every single detail of our dream. But the vivid points stick out in our minds for sure.
That's the best part, though, is we're there usually video or voice recording it and helping to ask specific questions. Maybe we can go into the process and explain that, but asking your specific questions so that you don't forget anything in the dream. Like you wake up and it's actually been recorded, which
Absolutely.
would be great if we could record all of our dreams.
Right. So the process, I think we share a very similar process. We meet with our clients and really cater the experience to them. We have them prepare a set of questions. It really could be anything that you need insight with or help with, whether it's releasing emotional stuff or you want answers for your life purpose or your career path or just some general direction in life. What are some other questions that people have come up with?
Chronic pain is a big one. Relationships and the dynamics, either whether it be working through forgiveness or understanding why a certain relationship dynamic continues to repeat in your life.
Absolutely.
Which is something I can relate to. And so that's a big one. And then there's like a lot of really fun, kind of crazy questions too.
Yeah, my son actually was my first client. He let me practice on him, and one of his questions was, can dogs understand humans when they speak? You know, it could, or another one that comes to mind is, are aliens real? Literally, it could be anything that is personal to you that you need some insight or guidance with.
Yeah, and I like to keep a really open mind in sessions like that when people are asking, for instance, questions about aliens or even past lives, and understanding the hang up there. And I try to not really get too caught up in the belief system per se, but really delve into the symbology and the imagery that the person's getting.
Yes.
And not get hung up on where it's from or if it's real or not, but really focus on like what is the story that you're seeing, and how is it relevant to your present life now, and how do these symbols and these images make you feel and affect your life, and what can we kind of dissect and decipher from that.
Absolutely.
And it's never short of profound. It's
right.
always pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, we work together with you, the client, to really tailor your experience, because everybody does have a different experience, and every time you get hypnotized, it is a different experience.
There's the whole spectrum is experienced, from really happy and laughing to tears and crying to like, whoa, what was that? So it really kind of highlights, I think, how much everybody is going through and how we all express it, and it's always really interesting. But one that I really liked, for instance, was where we went into what the client believed was a past life where he was an atom, and just kind of got to like experience what it was like to be a part of a cellular structure, and then really literally zoom out from that and understand how that belief of himself has affected the way that he interacts with people now, and really feels like, you know, this person that is meant to keep all these other people together, and the peacekeeper and the diplomat, and
wow.
And just I think why hypnosis is so great is it's getting someone to calm the logical left side of their mind and really just play around and think about things differently.
I would say it takes about maybe like 15, 20 minutes to actually induce.
Sure.
Yeah. To get all the way down to the theta level, to that sleep-wake state. And then from there, we just let your subconscious take over. And the experience is very different, like we were saying, for every person. Some people go into parallel lives or past lives, or even current memories of their current life, things that they need to see in their current life. A beautiful vacation to the Catalina Islands that was one of the most happiest times in their life, and they'd forgotten about it. And they needed to be reminded of the beauty in the world.
Trauma points revisited as well, which usually I find is because the person is specifically wanting to go back and see that.
Right. So what I have found is that your subconscious protects you, and that is like a natural mechanism that we all have. Our subconscious brain always wants to protect us, which is why I lost the memories of what happened to me that night a year ago, because my subconscious brain wanted to protect me from the trauma of that, which I couldn't remember. You are not going to be shown or taken to a place that you are not ready to experience yet.
Right, yeah, it's always exactly where you want to go, which I'm always grateful for that too.
Yeah, definitely. I've had a handful of people really kind of shun away hypnosis or be really closed-minded because they were so afraid that they would have to go back and revisit their childhood trauma. And they don't have to necessarily, you know. If you don't want to go there, your subconscious is not going to force you to go there and re-experience that. I know that's like a common theme with even like counselors or therapists. to go back and reopen those wounds, so to speak, to feel that pain so that you can release it and let it go, which there is definitely healing in that, but you have to be ready for it.
Yeah, and, you know, everything in moderation. I've seen people go too far with that, too. But, I mean, I think there's always, like, that good balance of introspection and doing that work, and then also giving yourself a break and honoring all the work that you have done.
Absolutely.
So I think QHHT is definitely for that kind of a seeker, or, like, the person who's wanting to understand more about their psyche, or how they interact with the world, or it's somebody who's already prone to thinking like that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And then the second half of the sessions are, we essentially call forth the subconscious and speak directly to it.
Yeah, it's always the best part. It's my favorite part.
Yeah, me too. The things that come out of people's mouths are profound, such infinite wisdom.
It's always really, really wise, I've noticed.
Every single time. Every single time.
I think that says a lot too. Like, it's really important that, and I've learned now how to tap into my subconscious and be present and experience that. So that was a newfound gift thanks to QHHT. But for someone else to be able to hear those words, especially in their own voice, is comforting, I think, on a whole other level.
There's definitely some healing in hearing your own voice speaking, I love you.
Yeah,
I forgive you.
Everything's good. You're doing so good. That's a big
you're
one.
right on track.
Yeah, it is. It's consoling, and it's funny because it comes out of even the most pessimistic of mouths sometimes.
Yeah. Absolutely. Definitely.
Yeah, it's pretty surprising.
After we have called forth the subconscious, and we've gotten all the questions answered that you've prepared, and we've gone that whole first part of it when we do the interview and we talk and we tailor your experience. We've gotten all those answers. We ask, okay, why did you show us these things of being an amoeba or being an atom? What was the purpose of seeing these scenes, essentially, these pictures? And our high self, our subconscious, will always tell us why you needed to see that. And then after that, you know, when you come back forth, when you wake up, we recap, because it's very much like a dream. And as dreams go, you wake up and it's so fresh in your mind, you're like, I'm gonna remember.
Right, I'll never forget that.
And then it goes. And then you go on with your day and you can't remember.
You were re-listening to one of your sessions today before we came up here.
Yeah.
And you're like, how did I not remember all of this?
Oh, totally. That was wild.
Do you want to talk about the DNA reprogramming and share that? Oh, maybe not.
Yeah, I mean, I just listened to one of my sessions, my most recent one, and it was actually a month ago today, 30 days today. Yeah, it was my last session. And things that I totally had forgotten about. Information that I had been trying to obtain.
Yeah, you were searching it out.
By my own research
That's all
and
that
knowledge.
Matters. Yeah.
And then I re-listened to the session. I'm like, I've been sitting on this the whole time. I already knew the answer to this. I just forgot.
Which is really a testament too to I think one of the fears that people have about hypnosis is that they're just making it all up, or that they're making up their imagination. The imagery that they're experiencing is all just a story, which is something that we've been told from childhood. But to go back and re-listen to something like that, I mean, it's pretty interesting that you were searching out that knowledge unaware that you already had it within you, which kind of really proves that you didn't make it up, because you forgot that you even came up with it.
Right, exactly.
It's pretty interesting.
It's weird. Yeah, we always do a recap at the end to remind you, so that it pops fresh back up in your mind. And that's really the whole session.
That whole session usually takes 3 to 4 hours.
Yes, it's very
They're in
involved.
depth.
It's an experience. I like to tell people that it's definitely an experience. People think hypnosis and, oh, you're just going to go lay in the chair. They're going to do one of these in front of you or one of these in front of you, and it's only going to be 30, 40 minutes. They're going to plant some thoughts in there. Change your mind about things, and that's definitely not how QHHT works. We're not about planting thoughts in people's brains or making them cluck like a chicken or dance or do weird, crazy things. That's not what this is about at all.
Yeah. So I'm super excited. You've really, it's been awesome meeting you and seeing you get into QHHT too, and you've really hit the ground running. You have a new office now?
Yes, I actually just opened the Well-Traveled Woman's office.
It's beautiful too. It's a cute
Oh,
little
thank
spot.
you, thank you. I really tried to make it like a homey feel. You come inside and it's like a living room.
Yeah, it's cozy.
And you just sit and we chill and we talk, and it's like old friends get together and talk about dreams, talk about how we want to grow and be better humans.
Do you want to talk about the different meetup things that we're going to be doing and let people know they can come by and experience hypnosis in a shortened version?
Yeah, a lot of people have that question, can I even be hypnotized? And what we're trying to offer to people is just a little taste, a sampling of what your experience could be like.
Yeah, kind of break the ice and let people feel what it's like to be in that trance state and have someone holding your hand, kind of walking you through it.
And we had an idea to target certain topics as well, weekly, monthly, whatever our interest is.
Yeah, so this month was called Coping with the Chaos, which it was funny because we were both going through a lot of chaotic things right around that time too, and it was really kind of bringing all that home for me and like, wow, these are techniques that I need right now too. And so just to be able to come and spend 20, 30 minutes experiencing some guided meditation, guided hypnosis, and learning how to cope with anxiety and stress is super helpful, especially right now.
Yeah, the holiday time can be very stressful, very chaotic. And anything that we can teach or help with to calm that craziness, that chaos, we're all about it.
What made you get into hypnosis? I mean, aside from being exposed to it, what was it that made you decide that you wanted to pursue this?
The imagery that I saw in my mind's eye and how it was symbolic in my life and how it was very current. I guess I'll just share. I'll just be transparent and share. So
Yes.
I had these images of something being placed in my body, and now I don't know if that was a real thing that happened or not. It was placed in the left side. Now I went to go get my general doctor's checkup, wellness checkup, and I had noticed some lumps in my breast on the left side. And so we got them checked out, and they said, just watch it. We'll come back in 6 months, and we'll check it out again. I started watching it, and these things started growing very rapidly. Within 2 months, they were double the size, and I let my doctor know about this. And they said, come on back in. We did a mammogram, and sure enough, they said, we need to get this out. And so we scheduled emergency surgery. The results came back as the lumps were benign, thank goodness. But I am convinced that without seeing that imagery, I would never have gotten checked. I would never have thought to check, and who knows what have happened. It could have turned cancerous, And that's a really scary thing.
Yeah, definitely. So it's it's another way of showing people how to tap into their own bodies, and that's something I think you probably do this every time, and I try to every time when someone's in trance, have them do a body scan. And I think a lot of us are not really spending a lot of time connecting to our bodies
Yeah,
and spending
definitely.
time really paying attention to the sensations they're giving us. And to even just take that time and really focus on what's going on internally and physically is a gift, because you usually know what's up. You just haven't really spent much time to tap in.
Another example of that just came to mind. My son, when we did the body scan on him, his subconscious let us know that we needed to get his left ankle checked out because of something that had happened with the way that the bones had grown together. Little did I know that he's 10 now, but little did I know that he had been having issues since he was about 4 years old with his ankle popping. So we went and got it checked out with his doctor, and sure enough, the bones had grown incorrectly, and he was needing to get physical therapy to correct that.
Wow.
We
I
would
didn't
have
know
never
about that.
known. We would have never known if not for hypnosis.
I feel like I get a session every time I give one.
Yeah, the level of wisdom and insight that comes from my clients and their subconscious, I gain something every single time, another piece of knowledge, and I couldn't be more grateful. I feel so blessed that this has found me, essentially, and that I was led down this path to be able to experience this and help people in the way that I am doing that. And I'm sure you feel the same way.
Oh yeah, it's really exciting work.
Something else that just popped up in my head once again is the fascination that has been surrounding near-death experiences and what happens to open heart surgery patients. They actually stop the heart when they do the transplant, and what happens, those individuals' experiences and what they're remembering when their heart stops and where they go.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating. Anybody who's interested in that kind of vein of experiences in humanity would be interested in QHHT.
Definitely. So how would somebody go about booking a session? That's also
That's a great
question. Like, oh yes, I am interested in this. How would I book a session? Well, I have a website. You can head on over to www.thewelltraveledwoman.com. Book a session on there. You can find either one of us. We're both on all sorts of social media platforms.
Yeah, Instagram seems to be the favorite nowadays.
Instagram, Facebook, we're both on that. Our schedules are open and available for whatever works best for you during the day, in the afternoon, in the evenings and weekends, really.
I've been doing the remote sessions too for people that don't live here in town and still having really great results with that.
That's something that I have had a big interest in as well, people wanting remote sessions.
Yeah, sometimes I find, like I had an experience with someone recently and she was really nervous. She drove 5 hours to get to the session. And so I think was already kind of experiencing some anxiety and had voiced that she would have been a lot more comfortable if she was just in the comfort of her own home, in her bed, in a already safe place. And I think for people, especially wanting to access certain traumatic events, experiencing PTSD, they need that extra little kind of nest. And that's why the remote option has been great too for people that need that.
Thank you guys so much for joining us today. Hopefully we answered your questions, and if not, feel free to reach out to us. Like, we're on all sorts of social media platforms. Head on over to the website. There's contact information there as well.
Always open to taking questions and talking people through it, talking to the skeptics. I love talking about it in any way and hearing how people react to it. So,
yeah, honestly, I've gotten a big influx of people who just kind of want to talk because they don't really have anybody to talk about this kind of stuff with. Like, weird things have been happening to everybody these past 2 years. I believe that there has been a shift in our consciousness on our planet. It's not just me or you.
Right.
Everybody is going through something. In the past 2 years, there's been a lot of loss. There's been a lot of letting go and releasing old patterns that are not serving us anymore. And people are really confused about that. We're here for you because it's not confusing. It's not scary. You're not losing your mind. This is happening to everybody, and we can provide you with some understanding and insight on.
Yeah, sometimes it is nice just to have someone to talk to.
It's always nice to have someone to talk to. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. Hope you have a blessed day. We love you.